Good evening. Tom Keenan here, Top Class Installations. Going live tonight, trying something a little bit different, using a little bit of software to actually get my screen shared as well as my face. So hopefully this works. Guess we got to check it out and see if we get some feedback from you guys. Give it a minute to let Facebook do its thing. See if we get any more viewers on here. Good evening, Bob. How you doing, sir? If you guys want to like and throw a thumbs up or something if you join this, let me know you're here. That'd be cool. I'll also start letting other people know that we got a video going on, and maybe you can hop in and learn some stuff here or see what we're using as far as software is concerned. So I put up a poll, I guess about a week ago, and a lot of guys were interested in what kind of software we're using to make us a little bit more efficient within the industry. And I want to take some time tonight to show you what we got. It's really nothing crazy, nothing special. It's nothing custom for the most part, but it's something that works for us. Of course, like most other businesses out there, we're open and always looking for new stuff. So one of the things that we learned early on is, since this is such a specialty industry, there is no custom software built for it. For instance, if you were an HVAC company, you could literally go online right now and search software for an HVAC company, and you could pull up 300 different choices and go ahead and just pick something and make it work within your business very easily. Unfortunately, what we do as a whole is such a specialty that that doesn't exist. So you pretty much have two choices. One, do it everything manually. Three choices actually. Manual. Choice number two is go ahead and find a developer and have something custom built, and then you have to maintain it for the rest of its life. And hopefully the developer stays in business. Number three is go out there and kind of piece together some existing softwares to make it work for your needs and your business needs. And that's the option that we wind up going with. It might not be the right option for you and your business. Maybe it is. But there's a lot of trial and error that was put into what we've done and what we've come up with. So I figured I'd share it with you guys and hopefully help a couple of you guys out. There's a couple of pieces in here that I think are just awesome software that you could probably use a lot more efficiently than what I'm currently using with them. So let's kind of dive in here. Give it a second for my screen to transition over. And what I'm going to do is skip ahead to a couple of weeks. That way we're not showing off too many customer names. But you guys can kind of get the gist here of what we're using for a calendar tool or scheduling tool. So what we have here is this is I'd say this is probably the backbone of our organization. We use Service Fusion. We only started using it. We're not even on board a year at this point. I think February or March is a year. We were using multiple other tools prior to this, before we found Service Fusion. And one of the tools that we got rid of when we got Service Fusion that I really, really liked a lot. It was super easy to use, and it might be the right step for some of you out there. I don't even have it on the screen, but it's called When I Work. It's literally a calendar tool, a scheduling tool, and it has a layout very similar to what you see here. So as you notice on the left-hand side, you see all the technicians' names, and then you would see the work they're given in this area here. So When I Work was very simple to use, and we were spoiled by its simplicity. So when we came to look for other tools that had all the bells and whistles and features built in, instead of going through 5 different pieces, when we got to Service Fusion, they were the only one that had this style calendar view, and it was completely necessary for my team in order to schedule work effectively and efficiently. So this is one of the main reasons we went with them. I know there's a couple other guys in the industry who are using this. Not to name names. I don't know if they want everyone to know what they're using. I personally don't give a shit. Um, I'm an open book. If you guys haven't figured that out by now, I'm here to help people. I'm here to talk with you guys. You guys have any questions about this kind of stuff? Be more than happy to do so with you. Bob, talk to you later. All right, so here's an overview of Service Fusion. So as you see here, this is a calendar. Service Fusion, if I had to start my business over again tomorrow, I would probably start here and then build out. This tool is super powerful. You can do all your invoicing from here. You can do estimates. You can enter site visits, all that kind of stuff built in. We're not using all of those features currently because my team is spread out a little bit, to be honest with you. Certain people have certain systems and processes that we've developed and put a lot of time and energy and effort into, and it would almost be counteractive to halt those people from doing their work while we go and fine tune Service Fusion so they can go back to doing their work and have to learn everything all over again. It's one of the main reasons why we haven't done that. But like I said, you can come into here and you can do all your billing right from here. The beautiful part is Service Fusion also has an application for the technicians in the field. So these guys get to see all their work orders that come through. They know exactly where they have to go, notes, POC information, any specialty notes about the customer. Is this customer a pain in the ass? Do they have any special requests? As you begin to build rapport with your customers, you can start entering this information. Every time you have a phone call with the customer, you can enter the data. Every time the customer no-shows you, you can enter the data. So when you get that new person on your team, whether it's a single helper or 10 people, you now have all this notes and this data built upon these customers, and it's very easy for those people to kind of come in and see what's going on. So let me give you an overview here of what we got, and you can see what's going on. So, all right, we got the calendar covered here. Let me pop back a little bit, and you can see some jobs here that have popped out. I don't want to show too much of this because I'm not trying to piss anybody off that we do work for, that we're kind of showing their customer data. So I'm gonna kind of just breeze over that. So please understand my brevity when I do that. But this is real simple. We can come into here, we can add appointments to customers. Up top here, we can search customer names. So you can type in a customer, for instance, Tom, and look at all the customer names that just pop up. So when you click into a customer, let me pop one up here. For instance, let's say we pop open this guy, Tom Harrington. You have all his contact info here. You can look up his history. What work have we done for him in the past? And you can see we didn't do anything for this guy. So this guy was probably a customer we did work for a couple of years ago, and his data, his information was transferred over into this software when we made our change, when we onboarded with them, which is pretty common. You don't service every customer 1,000 times. But in here, this allows you to add all the locations. You can, mark off who's who. You can create estimates. You can create all the work orders from here, all that kind of fancy stuff, which is cool. So let me see if I can give you a little bit of a different view here of what's what. All right, so I'll give you, for instance, let me pull something up here. All right. So for instance, this is a contact direct customer for us. He's not associated with a particular GPS company for the moment. He is a Geotab customer via a reseller. So basically what this is, this is what the technician's going to see. Actually, this is where my installation coordinators, they enter all the info for the appointment. So we give detailed information here. So if you look over here, we have the techs that are assigned to this job. This is their arrival time. We estimate them to be on site for 8 hours. This is the date, the status of the work. It's partially completed, and the technicians actually update that information in real time when they're in the field. So A guy arrives when he's driving to his job site. He marks it off in a route. He arrives. He marks it off on site. Then he marks it off started. Then the next step would be to close out the job. It's either completed, it's a no-show, or it's partially complete. That's basically what it comes down to. And these guys can all mark this information off from their phone, and from their phone, they can dump all the information and update the installation coordinators in real time. So the information is flowing throughout the organization very rapidly. And again, going back into here, these are all the notes for the customer who we're calling on site to make sure that we can verify the devices. This is where the installation coordinators actually type in all the info. And as you can see here, we can add notes, we can add tasks, all sorts of fancy stuff for the customers. So these are my completion notes from the technicians on site. It's what they're required to enter. So these are just notes that we know. So now when we call the customer to follow up with the return visit, this is what we need before we come back on site to finish your vehicles. As you can see down here, reminders. Service Fusion is so powerful that it actually sends out automated appointment reminders for us. So we've gone in here and we've actually written and programmed all the emails and text messages that go out, and they go out in a very particular sequence prior to the job. So as you can see here, we message the customer, email the customer a couple of times before each appointment. The whole reason we do this is we're following up with those customers. It would take a shit ton of man hours to physically pick up the phone and call every customer to verify the appointment prior to showing up. So we automate as much of that as possible. So, all right, now you see this here. This is just a real high level overview of this piece of software that we use. I don't know, honestly, how we would be able to survive today without this. Again, this is just the tip of the iceberg with Service Fusion. There's a lot more to it. I really, if you guys want to, if you're looking for a software to kind of put everything into one basket, except for capturing mobile data as far as, vehicle data in the field, Service Fusion is awesome. It's relatively inexpensive. If you're starting out and you guys don't have any software in place, again, this will even do your accounting. It's real basic, but you can do all your invoicing right from here. The beautiful part is it does integrate with QuickBooks Online as well as QuickBooks Desktop. So if you needed to expand your accounting capabilities after that, you could easily sync a brand new QuickBooks Online account directly to Service Fusion. You can sync an existing account, but honestly, maybe I just don't have the brain power to do it. It's a clusterfuck, to put it in plain English. It just seems like a real royal pain in the ass, and that's one of the reasons why we haven't done it. All right, so let me move over to my second favorite piece of software that we have in the business. This is called FastField. We've been using it now for roughly 2 years, and we would not be able to operate without the software at all. This software has 100% replaced pen and paper in the field for every one of our technicians. So the beauty of this is it comes as a blank canvas. It's roughly $15 a user per month. Oh, by the way, Service Fusion, we got a deal on it. I think we're paying $199 a month for it now. When we first signed on, it was, I think since we signed on through an affiliate program, which basically means that somebody recommended, we signed on, they got a break on their monthly service for a couple of months, and we got a break on our monthly service for a couple of months just because somebody recommended us. So it was a win-win. We wound up I think we were paying like $159 a month, which honestly, it's peanuts for what that software does and how it helps our business. I can dive deeper into that software in another video if you guys want. We could even go into the technician's mobile app and see what those guys see in the field, which is pretty cool. So anyway, back to this here. This is our form builder tool. So what we do, let me rephrase. What I did when we purchased this software, I knew that we needed to capture data in real time in the field. And one of the biggest challenges we had was collecting that data in the field when it was paper, by the way, collecting that data, making sure that it was legible, making sure that the data capture was accurate. And one of the biggest problems was we had no photograph of what we did. So with this here, we're able to take any mobile form that a customer typically uses, and we're able to convert that into a digital copy. What I usually do is go way above and beyond what they're requiring, and we require our technicians to capture a lot more data in the field. So this is one here, a form that we built that's done very well for us. It's a very long-winded form. When we first started up this group, I actually posted up another video of this in action. So I'm going to go through it today, but probably pretty quickly. A lot of you guys out there are already using form tools. Fastfield is definitely not the only game in town. I know some of you guys use GoCanvas. Some of you guys use DoForms. DoForms is awesome. There's a lot of other tools out there that can do it. This just happened to be the one that we settled on that works for us. So take it or leave it. If you like it, cool. If you want more info on it, I'm sure I can help you out. One of the things that made me choose to go with Fastfield was the simplicity of the layout and how to build the forms. The logic built in here is pretty cool. So you can actually make this form do fancy things. You can make it so if a certain checkbox is checked off or an answer is yes or no, it then either opens or closes other fields within the form. It's called conditional logic. So basically you come in here, you enter all these fields, you type in all the data, and entering a field is simple as adding this button, and you can choose any one of these fields you want over here. Click on it, it then comes into this column, and you can then program it for your likings and your needs. So let me give you a little bit more of a view of what the finished product looks like. So let me click this preview. This doesn't give you a cell phone view. This gives you more of an iPad view. But give it a second here to populate. Come on. There it is. So obviously this here is Teletrac Navman form. So what we have is typical information, company name, type in the company name, the work order, and then you would check, click this field here, what's the work that I'm coming here to do. And let me give you a quick shot of the conditional logic. So if you were to choose new install, you would then hit next, go to the next page, and it's going to ask you all this typical info, vehicle label, VIN number, year, make, model, that kind of stuff. If you come in here and you were to change that work performed to a no-show, everything changes. So this is a shot of the conditional logic and what it does. So we can customize these forms depending on the input from the user. It then asks the appropriate question. The other beautiful part about this is we can bake in all the contact information. So verification numbers, a link to the app, to the URL to verify the devices online. All that stuff is built right in. So here we're asking all the questions we need to ask in order to document a no-show properly. One of the other cool features is the second that the technician clicks on time arrived or time departed, it actually takes a geostamp of the technician's location and populates it on a map. So once this form is submitted, it actually prints out a really nice PDF, and it would actually populate on a map where that technician was. So if you have a customer that comes back and says, well, your technician was never on site, I was here for 3 hours waiting for him, you can prove that, yes, sir, here I was on site, here's the data. That has come in very handy on a couple of occasions. All right, so if this wasn't a no-show, for instance, a new install, let's go back into the depths of this form a little bit. VIN photo. So like I was talking about earlier, we require a lot of photographs. So one of the most common data entry fields that we were continuously seeing was the VIN number. A guy would give you 15 digits, 16 digits. Is that, what is that? I can't read your handwriting. And at first, when we were doing all paper, an error on the VIN or the unit number, especially the unit number, would require a return visit to the customer in order to sort out. So now you're going back to on site for free. If you're sending a technician, you're paying that person. You're inconveniencing the customer by having to get back to their vehicle for a second time, and you're delaying the information going back to the GPS company, which in turn delays your billing. So you're fucking up your cash flow for God only knows how long. So it was a bad cycle to get into, and those pain points are what pushed us to come and move forward and invest in stuff like this. A lot of time has gone into learning how to build these forms. A lot of time has gone into actually building the forms. But I'll tell you what, the beautiful part about the software is once you have a template made, it's literally copy and paste, and then you just tweak that form to whatever project you're working on or whatever company you're doing the work for, which is really cool. What the fuck? Still live here? Facebook's giving me trouble. I think we're okay. All right. Someone give me a thumbs up or something if you can still see. Anybody? All right. So I'm gonna just push forward here and see if we can get through this. Hopefully we're still sending signal out to you guys here. All right. So VIN number, for instance. So on the VIN number, we have 17 digits are required. If you go over that, you can't because it's limited to 17 and it's under. It also capitalizes all of the digits for the VIN number, which is really cool. Number two, we upload Excel spreadsheets for the years. We also upload Excel spreadsheets for the make and model, or actually not model, but make. And it's easily to duplicate this from one form to the next. So if you had to come in here and add one vehicle, you'd go into the spreadsheet, you'd add one vehicle, and then it would upload that for the rest of the forms that are out there, which is super cool. All right, so let me see if I can get sneak forward here for you guys. All right, so we have a vehicle check-in built into this form, exterior, interior, all that kind of crap. We have unit details, all the required information that you need in order to properly document your work on the back end and update the GPS company or whoever you're subbing for will be there. Vehicle checkout, and then you click submit, and this form is automatically emailed over to whoever you want it to go to, which is cool. So you could email this to a specific email address within your company. You can have a copy sent to each technician. You could have a bunch of cool stuff done with it. So the possibilities there are endless. I think Facebook here is giving me trouble. So what I'm going to do is log out and I'm going to log right back in and hopefully this will help. All right. Thanks, guys.